Let's talk about that moment where you spent months, maybe even years, getting everything ready for a big move to Canada. You have the acceptance letter from your dream school, your finances are pretty much in order. And let's be real here, you might have already started thinking about packing your bags. And finally, when you click that button on your student visa application, feeling great about it, but then you get that dreaded email, which is a rejection. The reason they give is super vague sometimes, very generic. Something like, I'm not satisfied that you will leave Canada at the end of the stay. And just like that, all your hard work and excitement feel like they have gone down the drain.
Rejected.
So, what really happened here? What are the reasons? Let's understand that. And here, you're not alone. In 2024, the rejection rate for Canadian student visas went up by almost 52%, surprisingly. And that means it's almost like a coin flip whether you get approved or not. And it's not always because a document was missing or there was an issue with your money that you could bring to Canada to survive for the first 1 or 2 years. The number one reason for rejection is often something people don't spend enough time on, but it's the one thing that can sink an otherwise perfect application, no matter what kind of university that you're trying to get into. And it's a hidden trap, the visa process. And today we're going to talk about all that and show you exactly how to avoid it. So let's now unmask the biggest secret. It's not your grades, it's not even how much money you have, even though those are super important. The single biggest reason your Canadian student visa will get rejected is that you did not convince the immigration officer of one simple thing, that you will actually leave Canada when your studies are done. This is all about proving you only intend to be here temporarily, and a student permit or a study permit is a temporary visa. When you apply for one, you're promising the Canadian government that you are only coming for a limited time to study here, and then absolutely going back home. And if the visa officer has any doubt that you might try to stay illegally after your permit expires, they have to say no, unfortunately. I know what you might be thinking. That sounds like a big, unclear problem. How can you prove what you're going to do in the future? And it can feel like you are being judged on a feeling of an immigration officer, but you're not helpless. You can absolutely prove your intentions. The problem is, most people think that just writing, I promise I will return home, is enough. It is not. You need to build a strong argument for yourself, a believable story with evidence that leaves no doubt in that officer's mind. And this argument is built on two main things, which is your statement of purpose and your proof of ties to your home country. And if you get these two things sorted, you seriously improve your chances of getting approved. Get them wrong, you might join that 52% of people who got a rejection letter. Think of your statement of purpose, sometimes called as a letter of explanation, as your only chance to speak directly to the visa officer, right? There is no other communication other than your application, which takes this SOP along. And this is where you explain everything for them. A weak, generic, or copy letter is a huge red flag. And it tells the officer you are not taking this seriously, or maybe that you are trying to hide something from them. And a great SOP is not just a letter, it's a well thought out argument. It has to be personal, logical, and full of details. And here's a simple guide for writing one that works absolutely in your favor if you put in the right effort and if you are truthful about what you're trying to convey to the officer. So, first, your introduction, of course, which is going to be pretty clear and direct. Say who you are, the school that you're trying to get into, and that you are excited about this new beginning. And next, you have to answer the why questions. You need to be really specific here. Why this program? And don't just say, it's a great program that I want to be part of. Talk more about specific things like classes or project that match your career goals, or explain how this program is going to teach you some skills that you are absolutely missing out from your home country. And why this university specifically? Talk about professors you want to learn from. Talk about the school's good reputation in that particular field or in the province, and also about the facilities that this institution provides. And this shows you have done your research and made a careful choice, not just applied to a random Canadian school. And also talk about why Canada, why not something else kind of thing, right? So, What is it about studying in Canada that you like in current climate, in the current uncertainty atmosphere that has been there for the last few years? The diversity of the cities or the research opportunities, the work study programs. Be very specific here. And now for the most important part of the SOP, your plans after graduation. And this section needs to be all about you going back home. And you have to paint a clear picture of your future, right? You have to plan for your future, absolutely. That is going to be in your home country. Talk about your career goals. What job do you want to do after graduating? Which companies will you apply to? How will your Canadian degree make you the perfect person for those jobs in your country's job market? For example, don't just say, I will go back home and find a good job. That's too simple and that's not going to work at all. Instead, try something like this. After getting my master's in data science from the University of Toronto, I plan to reach to India. The tech industry there is growing quickly, and companies like Tata and Infosys are looking for data scientists with international training. And this degree will give me advanced skills in machine learning that are in high demand, preparing me for a senior analyst job where I can contribute to our growing digital economy. Do you see the difference between what we initially talked about versus how you try elaborating that entire reasoning? That level of detail is what convinces an officer. It shows a logical, well planned future that depends completely on you going back home. Plus, well, so far, now your SAP told the officer your story. Now it's time to show them that evidence, right? So you have a good story plot, but now you also have to show the evidence for them to really trust because they don't know you. And these are your ties to your home country, the real things that show you have a life there, responsibilities to handle, manage, and assets that you wouldn't just leave behind just like that. The more ties you can prove, the more believable your story is going to become. So let's break down the key ties you need to show as a proof here. And the first one, you might easily guess it, it's going to be family ties. This is absolutely a big one. And if you have a spouse, kids, or older parents who depend only on you and are staying in your home country, that's a very strong reason to return back to your country. And you should provide marriage certificates if you're married, birth certificates, and maybe even a letter from your family explaining how important you are to them. Second, financial ties and property. Do you own a house, an apartment, or land in your home country? Because property is a huge asset. People don't just abandon, abandon just like that to move to a different country, right? Provide the official deeds or mortgage documents or property tax bills, anything that is going to support this particular reason. Do you have a major investments, a business, or a healthy bank account that you are keeping back home? These are all signs of a settled life you plan on returning to. And third, job ties. This is one of the strongest proofs you can have. And if you have a job right now, ask your employer for a letter saying that you are on approved leave for your studies and that your job will be waiting for you when you return. And that's an incredibly strong piece of evidence. Some people do take sabbatical for higher studies, and if your organization is supporting you for that, get a letter. And if you don't have a job, you can still show proof of job prospects, include actual job ads from your home country that show there is a clear pathway waiting for you once you're returned to the home country. And fourth, your travel history. Have you traveled to other countries before, like the US, maybe the UK, or even in Europe? And have you always followed their visa rules by leaving on time? If yes, this shows a history of good behavior. It tells the officer you're someone who respects immigration laws. See, these sound very simple, but a lot of people do make errors here under the impression that they know everything and their profile or application is rock solid. But that's not the fact. You need to gather clear official documents for every single claim that you make here. Don't just say you own a house. Show them the deed. Don't just mention about your family, provide the birth certificates. Every claim needs evidence, right? And this combination of a great story and a solid proof is your best weapon against a rejection if you are serious about moving to this country. While proving you will leave the while proving you will leave is the biggest issue, you can be careless with the rest of your application. If an officer is already unsure about you, they look for other weaknesses to justify to say no to your application. First is financial stability. You have to prove you can easily pay for your first year of tuition and also cover the living costs after moving to Canada. Your bank statement needs to be crystal clear and easy to understand, right? Big unexplained cash deposits right before you apply are a huge red flag, and a lot of people do make this mistake even today. In India, if you were in India, that might work, like brother sharing to brother or father sharing to son or daughter, whatever. Nobody cares because your father's money is yours by. But here, that's not how it works. That's not how they see. Everyone's money is their own kind of thing, unless they write a will or do something. Second, an incomplete or a messy application, and this sounds very basic, but it catches so many people. So use the official IRCC document checklist and check it out 2 or 3 times. Make sure every form is filled out accurately and honestly, and that documents like your acceptance letter are valid and not expired, where a lot of people did struggle for that very reason. So you need to be very thorough in checking all those aspects. Finally, a study plan that does not make sense. If you have a degree in art history and are suddenly applying for a PhD in quantum physics with no good reason, that's going to seem extremely strange pattern. So your SOP needs to explain your choices and clearly show why you're making this academic change and a shift from arts to a science. And getting these basics right means the visa officer can focus on the real heart of your application, your story, and your plan without being distracted by other problems.